Yes, I've started recording this. Actually, you know, just to earn some more time, if you like, I can just go ahead and explain some topics. Can you see the Word document that I have here?
No, I think you have stopped sharing
Okay.
it, so.
Anyway, I mean, I can just go ahead and read it actually. My name is Murat. I'm with the IBSU. And I'd like to point out some issues before we start this hopefully great looking session. The presenters will have 10 minutes to present, and we'll have 5 minutes for questions and answers. I'll turn off the mics to avoid distraction at the beginning and only turn on the mics of the presenters. And during the whole session, I'll ask the participants to turn off their mics, you know, when and if they come, hopefully. So if you're going to be using PowerPoint, just please make sure that you hit the F5 key to get into the presentation mode. And when there are 2 minutes left, you're going to hear a kind of bell, hopefully. If you can't hear it, if you hear it, please let me know that you understand that you have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I understand everything that I
That's
have.
great.
10 minutes, and then that I will be warned.
That's great. I might make mistakes in pronouncing the name, so sorry beforehand. We have Dr. Tamar Nicoladze right now.
That's exactly how you should pronounce it. I'm Tamar Nicoladze.
That's great.
So should I start my presentation? So do you know if other sessions have started, parallel sessions?
I don't know, but apparently room 1 is about to be over. So, so it's up to you to wait or to go ahead and present if you don't have the time. So, because I mean, you have waited enough, therefore.
That's true. And I think that when I finish presentation, if there is someone here, they can just take up and continue the session. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we have some, you know, some interruptions, but yes, it's coming.
Yeah, okay. So then I will start my presentation, and I will start by sharing my screen. So I need to understand how you do it first. Okay.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Yeah. So first, I will make a small introduction who I am. So hello, I'm Tamar Nicoladze, Associate Professor in the field of education, specifically in English language teaching at Tel Aviv State University, Georgia. My interest topic is adult language learning, and I have been researching this topic since 2013. Today, I would like to present a study on self-directed learning that I conducted among Georgian adult learners with my colleagues, Associate Professor Nina Basilashvili, a psychologist, and Associate Professor Shorana Zamugashvili, who is a specialist in pedagogy. In my presentation, first I will talk about the background of the study, a very short literature review, then methodology and results and discussion of the study. So first of all, what is self-directed language learning? So self-directed learning is based upon the ideas of learner autonomy, as Knowles defined it. Self-directed learning is a process in which individuals take the initiative with or without the help of others in diagnosing their learning needs, formulating their learning goals, identifying human and mental resources for learning, choosing and implementing appropriate learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. Knowles also stated that students who are proactive learners will learn more and remember it better than those who are reactive learners. Based on Knowles' observations, the autonomous learner in more likely to be invested in their learning and more likely to be successful in their learning. It is a neutral progression for language learners to take control of their learning. He reasons that if learners lack autonomy, they are capable of developing it. And furthermore, Benson emphasizes that autonomous language learning is more effective for the learner than dependent language learning. King recognizes the importance learner autonomy has in relation to language learning precisely because it allows the student to gain control of their language acquisition. It is reasoned that the more student has control over their learning, the more invested they will become in their growth as a language learner. For these reasons, autonomous learning has the potential to greatly increase student learning through self-empowerment. The largest potential problem with autonomy and self-directed learning is that the learner must remain disciplined, and a significant amount of self-motivation and critical reflection are required to undertake and pursue autonomous learning. As for the purpose of our study, it is to provide a complete picture of the behavior of Georgian adult learner while learning English, identify the adult's readiness for individual autonomous language learning, and providing recommendations for autonomous learning. We defined the following objectives for the study. So first, to determine the frequency for specific autonomous behaviors characterizing an adult Georgian learner while mastering English. To find out what adult learner goals for learning English are. To disclose the ways adult learners plan their language learning process when starting English classes, and investigate if adult learners are willing to learn English independently. We chose a method of survey and conducted this survey online. For this, we developed an electronic questionnaire form. Some questions were adopted from the Wagner study. In the questionnaire, there were 3 sections: the demographic data, statements that describe learners' behavior, and autonomous learning and self-evaluation. So 115 respondents filled this form between March and April in 2019. The survey data are generalizable to the general survey aggregation, and it's 95% confidence interval. Despite the high percentage of error, the data is generalizable. As for gender distribution, 82% were female and 70% male in the study. The age group of the respondents were presented in 4 groups, and they were mainly distributed between the age groups between 21 and 30, to 31 and 40, 41 and 50, around 30%, and very little percent, around 6% were in the group above 51. As for the academic level of education, as we see, there were 21% of the participants had a bachelor degree, 31% master's degree, and around 70% held PhD degree. And we have also others, and around 24% didn't answer this question. At the time of responding the survey, it was found that 12% of the respondents studied English for the last 6 months, 70% were studying English at the moment of taking survey, and 70% had taken English classes at minimum 6 months ago or a long time ago. And we developed 12 statements, including a Likert scale. Participants were provided with 5 answer choices to describe their behavior and attitude. So now I will show you the statements with the percentage that we had here. So the first statement here: I think I have ability to learn English, and we see that 7% always had this ability. and in the positive part of the answers, so it's about more than half of the participants. I use my free time to learn English, and only we see here 14% in the column of often and always. I repeat this study material before the lesson, so we see that this percentage is going down where we have always, so it's so we can say that in the negative answers, it's around 20% here. I usually
Dr.
repeat the
Mikeladze,
lesson material.
just for your information,
Yes.
we cannot see your screen if you're talking about charts.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I'm now sharing.
Maybe you share the window, but not the whole screen.
Oh, sorry. I will
No
check
problem.
now. So,
Yes, it's visible now.
but unfortunately, I cannot show you the chart. So, let me
You could
understand.
actually share the whole screen rather than a window.
So then I need to stop share. First,
Okay.
I need to, and then, okay. Share computer.
Do you see something like a whole screen or something?
No, it just offers me three different windows. One is my PowerPoint, second is my Word, and also the Google Chrome. So it offers me separate windows to share. So that
interesting. Okay.
Maybe this one. Maybe. Do you see now?
We can see your PowerPoint. Oh yes, now we can see.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
so
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I managed it. Yes, yeah. So these are the percentages of the statement, and so I was on the statement number 3. I repeat the study material before the lesson. So now we see that this percentage is going down, and I usually repeat the lesson material after the lesson. So on the 13, so in the negative answer, so it's around 27%. About a third of the participants do not do this. I make notes about my learning. I run a diary or write a review. And in the negative, so answers never and rarely, here we have around 40%. It means that we have lack of reflection among learners. I test myself with the test I have chosen, and still this negative answer here is again more than the third among the participants. And when I see the progress in my studies, I reward myself by going shopping or doing something fun. So about half of the participants do not do this, and this shows that they didn't celebrate their progress, or they didn't acknowledge the progress to mark it somehow. Statement number 8, I attend English language classes for language practice and learning. And not all. So here we have low numbers. And later we will find out why, what are the reasons why they attend the language classes, and why it's not only the language for the sake of language practice and learning. In the lesson, I try to get involved in different activities, working in pairs and group work, role playing. Here we see that most of the participants enjoy this type of activities. Statement number 10, I know my strengths and weaknesses, and we see that adult learners, around 60% of them know their strengths and weaknesses, almost always, let's say. I chose the right books and exercises for me, neither too hard nor too easy. And here we also had a high number in the positive answers. I enjoy extracurricular English language activities, reading books, watching movies, using the internet. So unfortunately, the number always is not very high, only 18%, 20% does this often, and 12% sometimes. So these were the characteristics that we discovered in the behavior of Georgian students. And now let me continue.
Actually, the time is over, but since there is not many people around,
Oh,
please just go ahead and continue your presentation. Thank you.
okay. Thank you for allowing me to present and to finish my presentation.
Thank you.
Actually, this was quite a big study, and that's why we have here a lot of data and materials, and it's good that I have this chance to finish my presentation. So we asked about the main reason of, oh, this terrible weather here, thunderstorm, and so maybe you heard the thunder. So we asked about the main reason of, or compelling reason for learning English, and you can see here that so 3% learn because of parents' request, 50% learn because they're interested in language, and for future employment opportunity, 43%. This is quite a big number, and interest on 33% say that they are interested in English culture. As for the materials that they select in their learning, so here we see that the material that they exported in their learning materials were chosen by them and also by a teacher together, so 69% claim that, and the materials selected by teacher, only by teacher, 23% reported that, and only 8% said that they chose their own learning materials. We also wanted to know about the goals and plans during the learning, how they set their goals and capabilities in planning. So we asked them questions if they had a clear goal before they started learning English, and here we see that 65% had this clear goal, and 70% was not sure. So now I wanted to draw your attention to not sure, quite high number we have here in 3 statements. I had a plan, so 45% agreed, but 25 just the participants were not sure what is planned or if they had a plan. And when we asked for a more precise kind of a plan, if they had a scheduled plan, so we see that only 27% had this such kind of a plan, and 30% wasn't sure, and 30% disagreed. So I think these numbers tell us a lot about how prepared the learners, adult language learners, are for autonomous language learning. So 90% of respondents wanted to continue learning English, and 62% were willing to start self-directed learning, and 21% preferred to learn language with a teacher, with someone else's supervision. And then they gave the reasons why they wanted to start the English independently, and these reasons were to save their own time. They prefer to study independently, to save some money, and not to waste it on private tutoring. For some participants, it was an interesting experiment, and also professional development, as well as for self-observation. So they were observing themselves, how they were learning in English. And for the negative reasons, the reasons that for deterring self-directed English learning, they reported that they were unable to learn independently and preferred to teach with a teacher and to have the responsibility for the lesson. Some disclosed that they had this external motivation, and they also wanted to have better pronunciation and to avoid problems in doing exercises or in learning the correct expressions. So this was mainly what I wanted to tell you about our study. And here I want to say that it's our teachers' role, that we as language teachers, we shouldn't teach language only to the students, and it's not us that our goal shouldn't be that our students are only the competent language users, but they are competent language learners. That learning to learn is very important. Otherwise, when they become, when they just finish their formal education, they aren't going to go back to study anymore, and they will lose this great opportunity to expand and reach their knowledge. So finally, I would like to thank you, because you were only my listener here, and if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer your questions.
Thank you. We also have Ms. Gigori here. I don't know if she has any questions. Thank you. That was a very, very comprehensive research. Did you carry this out in Tel Aviv only, or in other cities as well?
As it was an electronic forum in Google Forms, we used it. We reached many people outside of Kakheti region, so also in Tbilisi and West Georgia.
Okay, that's great.
That's why we had so many participants who held a PhD degree.
Oh yes, the problems that you see in the, at the university level and the postgraduate level, does it mean anything in terms of the secondary education? I mean, you mentioned the learning to learn skill, right? So do you think the secondary education must be updated with those skills, so that when the students come to the university level, they don't struggle with, trying to understand what a plan is, what is learning to learn, or strategy and things like that?
Yeah, it should be definitely started at the secondary level at schools, to give students more autonomy. And I think that this situation globally about this COVID-19 is somehow a favorable situation for developing this autonomy. And I think that this will allow many adult learners to start learning many skills on their own. And for this reason, I think they will be forced to develop themselves. I have talked to many young people about their free time, what they are doing right now. And I think this that there will be a paradigm shift in education, and so more stress will be on this self-directed learning, and so this will develop this discipline that I was talking at the beginning, that there is a lack of discipline. So now young people and also many adults will become more purposeful in their learning, and they will have more scheduled plan, and they will follow some routine to learn some kind of skill. It's not only about language.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's a kind of life skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since again, there are not many people around, maybe a related topic, like how do you envisage the future of education, especially the university, because I believe you are also at the university, just like me, and maybe we have two more participants here, Ms. Gigori and Mr. Ali, and they may also join the conversation.
To my mind, so online learning won't replace this traditional learning. I think that instead we will have this blended learning. When we go back to this normal life routine or lifestyle, I think there we will have this blended learning, wherein traditional face-to-face learning will take about 40% or maybe 50%, and still we will stick to this electronic or e-learning. So it will be a blend, because only online learning wouldn't provide us with the effective results, and still we need socializing, and we need to feel this according to self-determination concept. We need to feel appreciated, and this will only happen through face-to-face communication. So that's my opinion. So blended learning.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, we will see what's going to happen, right? I mean, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
let's hope for the best. right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as
Yeah.
you said, yes, there's going to be a kind of paradigm shift, right? I mean, and it's going to affect a lot of sectors, not only education, but a lot of different sectors. Well, thank you very much once again. You've been very patient in waiting for the other participants to log in. When I check the list of presenters, unfortunately, I don't see any other presenter here who is ready to go ahead with his or her presentation. Therefore, I will just give another pause here. And Dr. Michelazzi, if you like, you can just stay, or if you don't have the time, you may leave because you've already done your part. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And I will give another maybe couple of minutes for more participants. So we will be here, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes then. Thank you very much indeed again.
Thank you. Good luck.
Same to you. Thank you very much indeed.